How you doing? Right, so you know how it works. I do loads of different things. We try and do some stuff about anti-bullying. Don't need my glasses, I can see. This is my good friend, Jez. Right, so we had an issue the other day that we saw online, and you'll see some clips of it in this in a minute, where a young lad got beaten up. So bullying's always been there. There's a lot more of a bigger side effect of bullying than people recognise. So both of us were bullied as kids, and both of us are vulnerable and honest enough to admit that we both bullied as a result of that. And so what normally happens is, in my case, and Jaz can speak for himself, you end up getting a lot of anger and a lot of pain from being bullied, and it comes out in the wrong ways. Now sometimes that can be taken out on your parents, your family, or it just means, like me, I started street fighting a lot, and someone looked at me, I was ready to fight straight away, and that would have been seen as bullying, because a lot of the people would be like, why is he like that, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of things I regretted, but I know where it came from. It came from the pain of what I was doing. So this isn't meant to be a hate campaign towards bullies, because I was that. Yeah, this is meant to be, we've got to understand what the issue is, and we've got to communicate to both. There's a massive thing here. Me, as a child, you only get bullied if you let it happen. Yeah, and people don't want to hear that, but it's true. So what I mean by that is, you don't choose it to happen, but once it happens, now it makes you grow. You've got to choose, how am I going to deal with this? Do I carry on being bullied forever, or do I do something about it? So we've got loads of steps in place, because we do an anti-bullying campaign with all my kids at my gym, and then I go to schools and speak, and it's usually they must talk to the boy who's doing it. Please stop doing this, do you understand? It's hurting my feelings the way you're talking to me, or bullying. Sometimes that works. If not, then they go to the teachers, then they go to the parents, then often they come to our clubs, and normally a lot of the clubs that I run or I'm involved with, and other clubs, they'll talk to their kids and say, does anyone know about any bullying going on? And it's just an education thing. So a bit today, I want to show you an educational thing. We're going to show you how it works. Also, I wanted to get Jazzy's perception of being a Sikh when he was younger, because I grew up in a really mixed community, so I didn't know what racism was until I got older. But so I was blessed in that respect. But what did you go through from being brought up in the UK? And where did you grow up?
Guildford.
And from straight away?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And was you born?
I was born in Barking, so literally.
What age was you when you first noticed?
I think I was quite an innocent sort of kid. I think also it's that too. So going into primary school, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's when it kind of started. I was quite bubbly and friendly, but then I kind of felt a bit of a weird sort of thing with going to school, because I was quite different to most people that were there. And then
was people saying stuff straight away?
Pretty much. Again, I was pretty young.
I've always known you, and you've always known me, because we met when we were older, from fighting and martial arts.
Yeah.
But at that point, was you a bit of a warrior then? So you was fighting back then?
I'd say as a kid, I was very timid.
Yeah.
I
was very soft.
I didn't like fighting. I didn't really feel comfortable fighting. I didn't feel comfortable hitting someone.
Yeah.
I thought I'd hurt them and I'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is that there's two things that happen. It's either you get bullied, you either start to get depressed and carry away, like some people do, and it happens, or like happened with us, is that we kind of exploded and become what we don't want to become anyway.
Full circle.
So we kind of went the other way around, which isn't good either. You want to kind of have a balance of the two. But I found, I got really aggressive, super aggressive, mostly outside the house, not in the house. But anything would trigger me off. Doesn't matter what it was. Yeah. Because of that previous bullying, it just triggered me off. It's
exactly what we're saying. You can't do something to someone without something building up inside of them. Yeah. So if you're giving them a lot of love, they get more love. If you're giving them a lot of pain, they get a lot of pain. So a lot of us, like, I was a single parent child, and so my mum was always working, so I was pretty much on my own a lot. So then you become kind of a ghetto child, as in your friends are your network, they're your family. So all of my friends were like that. We had single parents near enough, and we all had the anger thing, and then we all started fighting, and that's kind of where it came from. So hopefully we can get this into schools about educating them and talking about it. My campaign, and it's not a charity, it's a campaign, is called The Power of Words. So the idea is when I go to schools and I talk to them, I say to them, the words you say today are going to have an effect on someone. So if you're in your classroom and you're calling someone big ears, which I used to get loads, and big teeth and all that, if you're doing that and the kid's not laughing back, then he's feeling intimidated and he's being bullied, whether you like it or not. Now, even if he's not showing it to you, something's going on inside, and that's building up. So kids have to think about what they've done. Now, these two kids that are in this video, like I said, you can't make this about that. We've done it. That's what we're trying to say here, yeah? Now, the kids are wrong, they know they're wrong, they're gonna learn, and they're probably gonna be getting a lot of hate from a lot of people. But I want this to be neutral, I want this to be more of an understanding. These kids need educating, both sides. This young man, from what I could see, tried to stand up for himself, do you know what I mean? So hopefully it's not something he's going through ongoing. From what we've seen, we're not even 100% sure if it's definitely a racial thing, which some people might try and push it towards that. We're not here to judge. We're here to, what's the word you used earlier? It was a better word. We're trying to explain to everyone, but it was a word you said earlier. Rather than judging, we're trying to let everyone understand. Do you know what I mean? So, apart from that, a quick tip, if you're someone with long hair, which might be male or female, and I understand in the Sikh religion that sometimes it can be deemed as disrespectful to have the hair out and stuff, but Jazz says for the sake of the video, a lot of people would understand. In case this ever happens to someone, this is how you deal with it. So if you don't mind just doing your hair, you can get grabbed from the front or the back. So the way to would that undo if you pull it? Yeah. So you pull that just under.
That's it.
Right, cool. So the days I had hair, what I would do with it. Right. Okay. So the thing about it, right? Hair is like a piece of rope. It's connected to nerve endings. So when you pull it, the person feels the pain in their head and their head follows the pain. So if I pulled him back, he'll come back with it. So all Jazz has to do, whether I'm doing this from the front or the back, when someone grabs his hair, if he grabs his hair now with both hands tight, keeps his elbows tight, it now becomes a piece of rope that we're both pulling. Does that make sense? So he's got it tight and I've got it tight. Now if he pulls forward, it doesn't hurt him, and if I pull him back, it doesn't hurt him. It's only going to be who's stronger. So the thing to do is, as soon as he grabs it, he eliminates the pain, keeps his elbows tucked in, and then he turns in towards me. Now I'm standing here, holding his hair, which isn't doing anything for me now. He's protected. If I hit him on the head, that's going to hurt me as much as him. He's protected. And if he starts kicking from there, I'm actually in front kicks and knees and whatever. If you show you, now I'm in a defensive position, yeah? So what you've got to do when you learn this, the first thing he's got to learn to do, as soon as someone grabs his hair, whether it's forward or back, and I'll show you that in a sec, is go with the energy source. So if I'm pulling him back, he walks with me. So we're going to start here. As I grab you, he grabs his hair straight away, he comes back with me, then he turns in. Yeah? So no part of that was what normally happens if someone's not ready, is they would be pulled back and down onto the floor. So the first thing you do, if you've got long hair, male or female, you train that if someone pulls your hair, you go with it. Try and grab it, now it becomes rope, and it doesn't become a conduit to the pain vessels, yeah, to the nerve endings. So if he grabs that again, as I pull, he turns in straight away and just starts kneeing. Super simple technique, right? So then it might work round the front as well. You're okay to undo it? What normally happens is they'll grab it and the hand will close. But if the hair's long, same thing, see? If I pull him there, now if he grabs his hair there, it doesn't hurt him, it's just a piece of rope, and he carries on kicking. Now he's actually got the advantage, you know, he's got his front kicks that have come up straight through the middle. There, now I'm going to let go. So now he can run away, he's got an escape, or if you feel you need to fight, you need to fight. And you'll know when to do that. So anyone who knows anything about martial arts knows that we're coming from a humble place of saying, I'm building confidence within me. I don't want to fight. I want to know how not to get into a fight. I'm doing self-defense to save myself from something bad that can happen. Yeah? So, but also there's a spiritual side to that as well. So when you're training a lot and you're finding yourself and then you meet someone else, you get humbled because someone else may be better than you and you recognise your place in the world again. But it has to come from the inside, if you know what I mean. So the long hair, you've got that, that's easy, right? So you grab it with both hands, stay protected. If I grabbed his hair, could you open it up again? Just a touch. If someone grabs your hair and now it becomes like that, if he puts both hands on tight, and what he does, he keeps it that side of the crease, there. Yeah? Now, I don't normally put all the teaching videos on because we've got an online thing and people can go on there. But this is important today, so I'm putting this technique out so people can understand it. He needs to bend the crease, so what he's really going to do to my wrist is that. So when he pulls back and down underneath like that, it puts the wrist lock on. So if I just borrow a second, so if you go like that for me. So what I'm really doing is doing that to him, and that puts a front wrist lock on. So as soon as I grab him, he grabs it with both hands, he digs into the crease and doesn't let me pull my hand back off. As he pulls it back and down, that starts pulling me underneath. So he pulls back and down, and now he can come back with kicking. And it, again, he's escaping again. Do you notice that? Because he's a Thai boxer, he naturally goes for low kicks. But for normal, if you put your hands on, most people would probably do this. So if I just bring you close here, see this part of the wrist here? I don't want to go over that. I want to get the knife edge and cut into it, tight, and then I'm going to pull it in and back and down. And then we can go knees. Sorry, yeah, I'll do it more general. I take him all the way down, which pulls him in, and then I can knee, kick to the nuts front. Because he's Thai boxing, he just wants to, yeah, does that make sense? Cool. Anything else you think you need to say?
Just in terms of bullying, a lot of it isn't physical. Even getting hit, it'll hurt for about 2 minutes. It's mental. Most of it's mental. So it's more about having confidence to actually walk around and do everything that's normal. Once you lose confidence, that's when you're on target.
Yeah.
And that's when you've got the punch shoulders, you're walking down. And that's what we try and eliminate by doing stuff like martial arts and just getting the confidence back again.
Yeah, and communicating. Anything that happens to us in life is our choice. Like at the moment, it's a pandemic, and you'll have some friends who are like, oh my God, it's terrible, and other people are like, oh, actually, it's making me create this online business, it's making me do that. It's not what happens to us, it's what we do about it. Does that make sense? So Costamato used to say about everybody feels fear, it's what they do about it can make them a champion or not. And that's exactly this. When you start getting bullied, you've now got to speak to your parents, and now you've got a decision to make. How am I going to deal with this? Doesn't always have to be physical, but you do have to stand up, yeah? And you do have to talk, and you do have to know you're not alone. Because I'm going to be doing a podcast soon where I'll be going to get loads of great people on, UFC fighters, stars, and loads of people have gone through it. So if you are going through it, you're not alone. You just got to do what everyone else has done, who's got through it, is face it, you know, accept it, deal with it, and then find a way through. And there's loads of places you can go. There are anti-bullying, loads of great anti-bullying campaigns you can go to. Schools are getting brilliant now with doing it. Obviously speak to your parents, and if you're going to any martial arts clubs or anything like that. But like I said, this doesn't need to be what normally people are going to do. And even in the comments later, there's going to be some people here, oh, them bloody bullies, what I do, blah, blah, blah. You've got to understand where that comes from. Kids don't do bad things normally for no reason. There's probably something there, and they just need educating as well. And, you know, probably loads of you was in school fights at school. It doesn't necessarily mean it was more than just what went on at that moment. So we're sending you lots of love. And we did actually we were going to go up there, we were going to drive up there and hopefully speak to the family, and I would happily have spoken to the school. But they've asked for their space at the moment, and they're very grateful and thankful for everyone who's reaching out to them, especially the Sikh community, because obviously they're great and they're very responsive and thoughtful to each other, what they're going through. So anyway, big love from me and him, and we'll see you soon. Take care.